What's up, guys? Just started the live today, but just as a heads up to those of you who have subscribed to the channel, every time I come out and practice, I'm going to be doing some lives for my practice sessions. Maybe not every practice session, but definitely a large part of them, in an attempt to generate some more content for you guys. And to hopefully give you an idea of what it requires to become successful as a bowler. So I am out here at Town and Country today to get some practice in. Just need to get some tape on my fingers. For those of you who tuned in yesterday to the live session when I was practicing, I apologize about the audio cutting out. It turns out my wireless mic transmitter battery died, and I forgot my replacement AA batteries like an idiot. So that's definitely not the case today. I've got brand new batteries in the transmitter, and I've got extra backups with me, just in case. So hopefully we can avoid those audio issues. Okay, let's get ourselves warmed up here with some one-step drills. Get my body nice and loosened up. That ball hooked like 3 or 4 boards. That's my spare ball. I am monitoring chat, by the way, so if you guys end up having any audio issues, just let me know, and I'll try to resolve them as best as I can. Now, this is normally the procedure I follow whenever I practice. I always start with a little bit of just basic warm-up, one-step drills. When I'm doing this, not really focused on anything except for making sure I'm relaxing my arms in the downswing, and I do actually practice my releases a little bit when I do this. So right now, because I'm throwing spares in this warm-up, I'm trying to stay behind the ball as best I can. Even though there's no ball speed, that ball is going to hook a few boards even if you stay behind it and roll it forward. Oh. All right, 27 and a half. Kind of like that. Maybe. Too much head pin. So I'm going to kind of build off of yesterday's practice. Yesterday, for those of you who tuned in, what I was trying to focus on is whether or not I need to add a push away back into my approach. That's something I eliminated, about a month and a half ago. And I actually eliminated that right before I went and bowled my tournament in Great Falls, and I coincidentally cashed. So I'm trying to figure out if I need it or not. When I had it in my game, it seemed like it always provided a little bit of inconsistency in my approach. And of course, that caused issues with my accuracy and everything. When I eliminated it, I seemed to be more consistent, but the downside was I started to lose ball speed because I wasn't generating any momentum in my swing. 27 and a half. The other part about this one step that I'm doing right now is it's also focusing on my timing. Large part of the two-handed game is, of course, making sure your timing at the foul line is correct. So when your swing is coming down, you're just beginning your slide. And so this one-step drill really helps with that. I'm going to do one more shot here with the one step, and then we're going to move on to a skip step. A little left. All right, I'm going to grab my tape, mark out my location for my skip step drill. And if you're wondering how to do this, normally you want to start on the approach where you normally would, and then just begin your approach. And wherever that third step takes place is where your skip step is going to start. So for me, that's about right here. And I take a piece of masking tape. since it doesn't really mark up the approach. Always make sure you get permission from your bowling center operator first. And I just lay down a line. That way I have a reference point for where I'm going to start on my 3-step, no matter what. All right, so same thing here. Now, as a two-hander, you can generate some upward momentum in your swing in that 3rd step, because a lot of two-handers, you've got a hop. Well, you should have a hop anyway. And if you think about it, when the ball's down here and you hop up, the ball comes up. Now, I didn't do that, right? So I just hopped and the ball came up in the swing. So I really started to focus on that by eliminating my push away and just relying on my upward momentum to generate my upward swing. And it seemed to help my game quite a bit. Kind of like that. And now I didn't generate that momentum with my arms. That momentum happened simply because I took my skip step and my upward body momentum brought that ball up into the swing, which requires me as a bowler to only focus on really one thing at that point, which is just letting the arms relax once the ball comes down. So we're going to try it again here. Now, if you're wondering, yes, a 3-step drill also helps you work on your timing, because you want to be entering your skip step when the ball is at your hip in this position. And see, this is why I eliminated the push away. So as you can see there on that shot, it had a pretty decent amount of speed to it. And that's in 3 steps. So that amount of speed that I'm getting is coming not only from my forward momentum I'm generating with my feet, but also that upward momentum from me hopping and the swing coming up and being relaxed on the way down. And what I noticed is when I was adding my push away in a full approach, that speed, of course, would be there, but it was always inconsistent for me. And I think that might be because my timing was slightly off when I had a push away, probably because my push away was a little bit longer than it should have been. But see, the speed I'm generating right now in a 3-step is normally the speed I would generate in a full approach. So if that speed gets lost simply by adding a couple steps, normally that's going to mean that my timing is slightly off somewhere. I'm going to throw probably 4 or 5 more shots here with a 3-step. Just clip the 7-pin, that's what we want. Now, like I said, keep in mind here, I'm purely focused on making sure the ball's in the proper position before I start my step. Then once I start my step, I'm not using muscle in my arms to lift that ball into the swing. I'm actually using my body's upward momentum. And that's why the hop step in a 2-handed approach is so vitally important, in my opinion. Oh, that was a little left. What's up, everybody? For those of you watching, welcome. Try for that 10-pin again. We just want the 10-pin, nothing else. That's better. 10-pin only. A few more shots here. Let's go for the 4-7 this time. So that's going to be for me 20.5 and aiming 20. Perfect. Another thing to talk about with these drills, so you'll notice a lot of really good bowlers, when they release the ball, right, what does their ball side arm do? It swings, right? Well, they're not generating that force. The whole idea is we let our arm just swing through. And the reason they do that is because they want to make sure they're loose when they come down either as a one-hander They're loose at the bottom. They're not forcing it one way or the other. As a two-hander, the same idea. So that upward momentum generates the upswing. We relax on the way down, which allows all of that forward speed to translate into our ball swing, and we want to be loose at the bottom of the swing. That's why that arm is supposed to swing like that. Well, if you're pulling everything left, more than likely that is because, like you said, it's a timing issue. So I would focus on when you're starting the ball. The biggest thing about two-handers is two-handers timing is quite a bit later than a one-handed timing. Now, I don't have a, well, I can get a house ball to hopefully try and show you a little bit here. Let me find one that fits my hand, at least somewhat, just a 15-pounder. So as a one-handed bowler, the way you're taught is your right foot, if you're a right-handed bowler anyway, is attached to your right hand or your right arm. So when that right foot moves, your right arm moves, right? So in the setup, essentially, we're doing this. Nothing on step one, and then step two, everything moves, right? So that's standard one-handed approach. Now, like I said, two-handed timing is different because the swing is a lot shorter. It takes less time to complete. Therefore, our timing has to be later. In order to do that, we don't move the ball at the same time as the right foot. We actually move it after that step takes place. So, normal approach would be step, and I start mine about halfway forward in the second step. So, step halfway, and if you have a push away, this is where the push away would start, is right about here, then you push. Because then in our third step, as you can see in my three-step drill here, the ball comes down to the hip, and this is where the ball should be as you begin that third step into your hop step, right here. If it's not here in that third step, that's probably why you're tugging it down. It's either getting there probably a little bit early, so you're having to tug it down once your slide is at the foul line. That would be my best guess without seeing video. So from the side, it's going to look kind of like this. So step, half step, basically as that heel touches the floor, then the ball gets pushed if you have a push. For me personally, I currently haven't been using a push away, so I let the ball just kind of relax right here, and I step, step, and then when I enter my skip step, that's when the swing starts to generate for me, but that's simply because I've eliminated my push away. Hopefully that answers your question and helps you out a little bit. Now, if you're looking for a really good way to kind of determine if your timing is off, the best way to do it is to use your cell phone if you have a tripod, or maybe just a friend who's willing to take some video, and you have them video you from the side as your approach finishes, because what you're looking for is as your slide is beginning, about right here, so before the slide comes to a complete stop, that ball has to be right about here, okay? Because we want that momentum to be generated into the ball. If the ball is higher than this, as your slide is beginning, let's say it's way up here, that means you're going to have to tug it down once your slide completes at the foul line, and that's what we don't want. So 10 pins is a two-hander. Since you're asking, obviously it's very difficult. I do have a video out on my channel where I tried to explain a really good, easy method for two-handed bowlers to use, especially one-handed bowlers, any bowler really, to use to try and shoot your spares as accurately as you possibly can. Me, I keep my target exactly the same, and I adjust my feet based upon how I throw the ball. With a two-hander, we have a tough time getting our hand out of the ball to generate less rotation. So what that usually means is our spare ball is going to hook 1, 2, maybe even more boards depending on what you throw for your spare ball. So what I recommend you do is you use the middle arrow as your target, and you play with where you're standing on the approach to shoot a 10 pin. So to kind of show you an example, I'm going to look right in the middle, and I'm going to start by standing on board 26 on the approach. And we're just looking to see where the ball goes at this point. So for me, with how I throw the ball, that ball went left. So what does that tell me as a bowler? I need to move my feet more to the left if I'm going to use the middle arrow as my target for trying to shoot a 10 pin. So we're not going to reset the rack, but I'm going to take my feet and move 5 boards left. So I was standing about 26. I'm going to stand 31. And I'm going to look at the middle arrow. Same thing here. Good shot. Okay, so for me, I hit middle arrow. That took out the 3-pin, and if the 9-pin was standing by itself, that would have taken out the 9-pin as well. What does that tell me as a two-hander if I want a 10-pin with how I throw the ball? Well, that tells me I need to move more left with my feet, keeping my eyes in the same place. So I'm going to, again, jump 5 more boards left. I'm standing now, 36, looking at middle arrow. Let's see where the ball goes. That was pretty close, but it wasn't the best shot in the world. I was a little off balance. If you notice there, I kind of hopped back to the other direction. But the ball went generally towards the right side of the deck, took out the 6 and the 10. So we're going to try that again, where we're going to make a smaller adjustment. So I was 36 before. We're going to move a couple more boards left. 38, looking at middle arrow, see where it goes. Let's try that over. So I tugged it just a tiny bit. My timing was slightly off, and the ball went left to where it should have gone. But if this was you throwing the ball, trying to pick up a 10-pin, and it did that, it definitely would tell you that, hey, I need to move my feet even further left. So let's take a look at that. We're going to go 38 again, because I did tug it a little bit. Middle arrow for my target. Okay, so that for me is my 6-pin and my 10-pin for how I throw the ball. Keep in mind, everybody's a little different, and you might have a bit of rotation. If you have rotation, you're probably going to have to adjust your feet even further to the left if you use the same target to shoot your 10-pin, which is what I recommend you do. And yeah, that's a good point, Juan. So the hand placement video that I came out with, a couple months ago, I think, is really the biggest key to shooting your 10 pins as a high rev two-handed bowler. Because like I said before, your spare ball is going to hook. I mean, even plastic hooks, if there's enough friction out on the lane, plastic is going to hook. And as a two-hander, taking your hand out of the shot really is not an option. Some two-handers, they leave their thumb in the ball if they have that option and they're accurate enough. Me, I'm against that. I say if you throw the ball normally on a hook two-handed, shoot your spares two-handed. It keeps you more consistent. But get really good at taking your ball side hand, whether it's your left hand or your right hand, and keeping that rotation dead straight. So a lot of people struggle with this because it takes a lot of flexibility to take your wrist and go this way versus this way, right? It's hard to do this. So some of the keys to doing that is take your elbow and use your elbow. Keep your elbow as tight and close to your body as you can. And as you can see, that helps kick my wrist the opposite direction. That's how we get dead behind that ball. And in some cases, you can add just a tiny bit of reverse hook to that ball, which can help. I don't recommend trying to shoot 10 pins or spares with reverse hook just because it's a bad habit to get into. Now, two-handers out there will say, well, Anthony Simonson does it. Are you Anthony Simonson? I'm not. I can't throw the ball like he does. I definitely don't have the same body style that he does. So I shouldn't be attempting to do that, in my opinion. I think it's just a one-way route to hurting yourself in the end. All right, so I'm going to hop back to my practice here. Now, like I said before, I've been working on trying to figure out if I should have a push away or if I should eliminate the push away in my approach. I've done a number of 3-step drills. We're going to throw one more shot here with a 3-step, and then we're going to go to a full approach and play around with that push away idea. All right, let's get my tape off the approach here. Masking tape. It's your best friend when you're coming to practice. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to stand and throw a normal shot like I would in league, and I'm not going to use my push away, and I want to see A, how much ball speed I get, and B, how much consistency I get. So I'm actually going to throw 3 shots in a row. And I'm looking for consistency, not only with targeting, but release and ball speed. Standing 30, looking about 15. Okay, so I hit 15. I hit 10 at the break point. My release felt good. I felt nice and loose at the bottom, which is what I want, because that guarantees that my hand is, you know, letting the ball roll off my hand instead of lifting through the ball, which is what we don't want. So to me, that felt pretty good. But again, I've been doing that for quite a while, you know, a month and a half. So that's why it felt normal. I'm going to do it again. Now see, that time something was off, which caused me to tug down. And I think it was my timing. So I tugged down, I came around the shot, missed way left. You know, I hit center arrow, fourth arrow that time. We're going to try again. Make sure my shoulders are aligned here. Much better. A little bit of a tug, but you know, 16 at the arrows, 11 at the break point. We're going to try one more shot, and then we're going to add a push away and see if that helps my consistency or makes it worse. Now that one was a little to the right. So again, this is how I've been throwing the ball usually now, is I'm not relying on a push away to generate any momentum in my swing. What I'm relying on is that skip step where my body leaves the approach, and I'm relying on that upward momentum to carry the ball up into my swing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a push away and throw 3 to 4 shots here. And that's going to help me generate some momentum in my swing. We're going to see if that changes things for the better or for the worse. I'm going to start with the ball in the same position here. So, now it definitely felt different because I'm not used to doing that, and I've been throwing the ball without the push away for a month and a half, roughly. One thing I noticed is at the release point, it kind of felt like I was a little early with my foot, and so I tugged it a little bit, and I came around it as a result. I'm going to try it again and see if the same thing happens. Now, visually speaking, I mean, I don't see a difference in ball speed, and I'm trying to think if I noticed a difference in rev rate that time. Oh, see, that was terrible. And that's the kind of major inconsistency that was being caused by the push away when I had it in my game a number of months ago. Is I think the push away would be either a little bit longer than the previous one or maybe a little bit shorter than the previous push. And so that was adding a bunch of inconsistency to my swing, which results in inconsistency everywhere else. So we're going to try here and focus on same distance on the push away, hopefully. That was better. And again, I'm not really seeing a difference as far as ball speed and rev rate. It about looks the same to me. Now, I don't really know for sure unless I was to take a video of that approach with tape on the ball and actually count my rev rate and time my ball to see how long it takes to get to the pins. See if I can do the next 3 shots in a row with the push and be accurate. Now see, that one was a little to the right. So I was 2 boards right at the arrows, which of course makes my break point way far to the right. And that's what you don't need. So we're 0 for 3 as far as consistency. I'm looking at 15 right now, trying to get it to about 8 down lane. I missed right again. 2 boards right. Now, as far as what it feels like, I don't know. It feels awkward simply because I have the push away there. You know, personally, I don't think it's a coincidence that I eliminated the push away shortly before I went to Great Falls for my previous tournament, and I ended up cashing, you know, because my shot consistency was so much better. All right, so we are 0 for 2 now, as far as hitting my intended target line. And missed right again. So see, something about having that push away causes me to miss to the right. And that's what I noticed about a month and a half ago, is that push away, for me anyway, seems to cause a lot of inaccuracy when I release that ball. And I don't know why. I've taken slow motion video of myself trying to figure it out, but I've never been able to figure it out. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't have a push away. Everybody's different. For me, that might work. For you, you might need the push away. All right, so we're 0 for 3. Let's go to without the push away and see what we do over the next 3 shots. I mean, what's wrong with that right there? You know, I was dead on that time. 15 out to 8, beautiful. So we're 1 for 1. Oh, sounds like we got a pin stuck back there. I'm gonna have to go run back and grab that. That'll cause an eventual jam in the machine. Now that got stuck in an interesting location. Usually the shaker deck would solve that problem. There we go. Now that was a first. I've never seen that happen before. So the head of the pin got stuck in front of the shaker deck underneath the lane bed. I've never seen that happen before. Okay, we're back in action here. Okay, so we are shot number 2 with no push away. Let's see what we get here. Good shot. I mean, the only bad thing about that is I came around it just a touch, and that little bit of inconsistency I've had in my release, I've had for the longest time. That's nothing that's going to go away with adding a push away. And as you can see, it actually made it worse with the push away. But I was accurate. You know, I hit 15, I hit 8, and that's what I want. I want more accuracy on the intended line or path of the bowling ball than anything. Three for 3. So again, as far as I'm concerned as a two-handed bowler, I'm not going to use a push away just because I don't think it's necessary for my game, and I used to bowl with it. I would always do terrible. It would give me that inconsistency at the foul line. You know, I'd come around it sometimes, I'd miss right a lot of the time, and you can't do well at a tournament in that type of a scenario. So now we know for sure whether or not the push away is necessary for me or not, which in this case it's not. And we know for sure that I don't think it's really changing anything as far as ball speed or rev rate. You know, my hand still feels very soft at the bottom, which it should. I'm definitely generating enough upward momentum with my swing, just purely with my body's upward momentum. And like I said earlier, that's kind of big for two-handers, and a lot of two-handers I don't think actually think about that. A lot of them think, oh, I have to lift the ball with muscle. And one-handed or two-handed, no matter how you bowl, adding muscle into the equation is always a bad idea. And for me, eliminating that push away helps reduce the amount of muscle I'm using. Using my body's upward momentum helps me get that ball into the swing without adding a ton of muscle, which helps me, of course, relax to allow the swing to develop down and keep relaxed at the bottom so the ball rolls off my hand, instead of lifting through it. So I'm going to stick with it and not use a push away. The biggest thing about this, though, is making sure I'm consistent with my body's upward momentum, of course. If I have more upward momentum, obviously my swing is going to be a bit higher. If I have less upward momentum, obviously my swing is going to be a bit lower. So if I'm trying to generate ball speed without the push away, I'm going to have to focus on more upward body momentum to get that swing a bit higher. But at the same time, since the swing is going to take longer, I need to have a little bit slower feet. Kind of like that. And of course, it's just the opposite if I want less ball speed. So less ball speed, faster steps, less upward momentum with my body, which results in a lower upswing, which should result, in combination with the quicker feet, a bit slower ball speed. I hop to the right, but you get the general idea. So I think it's something to stick with. All right, we're going to throw a few more shots, kind of practicing that change in speed. And then we're going to throw a game for score. And it's almost 3 o'clock, and then I'm going to have to call it because I got to go pick up my kids from the bus. We're going to go for a speedy shot here. Pretty good. Now I've hit my target line pretty much, let's say, 1, 2, 3, like 5 shots in a row now. Same spot, and we're going to throw it slower this time. Oh yeah, much slower. Hopefully you can see it translating on the video, by the way, about the differences in the backswing. And like I said, keep in mind, I'm not muscling it up. This right here is what's causing that ball to come up. There might be a tad bit of muscle, but not much. I'm relying on right here. So the more my body goes up, the higher that swing gets, the more speed I'm able to generate, as long as I'm in time, of course. All right, 10th frame, I'm going to move to where I think I need to be for strike, and see if we can throw 3 clean ones. Pretty good. Ooh, it's drier than I thought inside. Okay, good shot. Move again. That was a 4 and 2 move, so we're going to go at least another 4 and 2. So I'm like 38 now with my feet looking. We'll try 17. Good shot again. Oh yeah, this is a very burnt up house shot. Actually, it was oiled fresh yesterday when I was out here practicing. That's why I came out to practice. And since then, they've obviously had quite a bit of open bowlers out here, kind of tearing things up. We're gonna move again. So we're gonna go 2 and 1. So we're 40. And I got to a good break point that time, so we're going to go 18. Good shot. There it is. Oh, it deflected. Not enough rotation. Okay. We're going to reset that score, and then we're going to go for a game for score, and then we'll call it for the day. So based on what I'm seeing, and here's a good tip for you guys as far as ball motion. Normally speaking, I would be throwing the ball I'm throwing right now on late transition when the lanes are really jumpy. However, it seems like right now they're playing very cliffed, at least over here. So I need a little bit more control. So what I'm going to do, dig into my bag here, and I'm actually going to ball up to something a little bit stronger. And we're going to start with my Joker Maniac because the cover's stronger. It's got the same layout as the Geek I was just throwing, but it's got a stronger cover, and the core stats are quite a bit stronger as well. So we should get a little bit more shape out of this one as far as front to back. Probably less shape right to left. And we're looking to blend this out a little bit. So we're going to jump to 34 with the feet and 5-6 at the arrows. Decent shot, a little left, but much more blended, much more smooth. That's what I'm looking for. Tisha's over in the bar if you're looking to bowl, by the way, Ryan. So that was a kind of a side effect of me tugging down on it. So I hit my mark at the arrows, but I was way left at my break point. So we're not going to adjust. We're going to try and throw a better shot on the next one, of course. Dead center, that's what we want for those single pins. All right. 34, 17, actually I'm going to go 16, I think. Pretty good. I thought that would hold line. I was behind it like I wanted to be, and it jumped right at the last second. So what that tells me is, even with this stronger ball, I need to be a little bit further inside. All right, we're 20 and a half and 20 for the spare. Oh, I missed. Yep, with all that hook out there, I knew I missed it as soon as I let it go. I was left at the arrows by a lot. Okay, so we're gonna go to 36 and 17. Looking for a break point of 8 here. Oh, I hit 17. Never got it to the 8 board. Now see, that could be for a couple different reasons. Keep in mind, the ball could be strong enough that it's hooking too early, so it never actually makes it to the 8 board, even though it's online initially. And that's where really watching your ball as it goes down the lane becomes really important when you're looking for ball motion. Because even if you're throwing accurately, if that ball hooks early enough, it's never going to make it to your intended break point because you don't have enough angle through the front part of the lane. So I think that's what's going on, because I've hit my target the last 2 shots beautifully, and it didn't make it out to my break point. So we're going to go 38, another 2 and 1. Actually, you know what? Yeah, 38. We're going to go 2 and 0. I'm going to keep my eyes on the same place. I want that ball to get out to the edge. That's better. It was so close. So see what I did there is I moved my feet to increase my angle through the front part of the lane. It got it to the 8 board, but it didn't hold at the 8 board. So again, I need to move my feet further left at this point, after I pick up my spare, of course. And for this spare for me, 34 and a half with my feet, looking at 20 with my eyes, stay behind it. A little bit of hook maybe. Oh no. So see, difference on that spare shot was I actually came so behind the ball that I was a little off to the other side of the ball, had a little bit of reverse on it, and it backed up and missed the spare clean. Okay, so we need more angle in the front So now that we were at 38 and 17 on the last shot, we're going to go 40, but we're going to move our eyes to 18. This should increase the angle to the front, but get it out to the 8 board, hopefully. Laid it down too early. Got lucky. Now, as you can see on that shot, when I finished, I wasn't loose, was I? I finished and I posted it, right? Now, Norduke isn't a bad bowler, don't get me wrong, but his philosophy of posting every shot as a coach, in my opinion, is just a bad philosophy, because what does that do? It introduces muscle. So I think you should be more free at the bottom. All right, we're going to try that over. 40 actually. 18. Make sure my hips and my feet are opened up towards my target. Oh. Oh, in Brooklyn twice in a row. So that was 19. Never made it to 8. And I think at this point, see, I'm up against the ball return, and I don't have my body opened up enough to really project that ball to the right through the front like I need to. It's a double, but not a double I'm looking for. I'd rather have a double in the pocket. Okay, open my body up a lot more this time. 18, here we go. That's better. Come on, ball. It didn't necessarily drive through the pins, but hey, you know what? If you get that light hit and it strikes, whatever. I mean, this isn't a sport shot. This is a house shot. That's one of the reasons it struck. On a sport shot, you definitely want that ball motion through the pins. Same thing. Try and get balanced a little better this time so I don't hop to the right. That hop is a pure result of unbalance at the foul line. Uh-oh. Good shot. It was on line. I was just behind it instead of normal around the side. You know, my normal release, which is about 35, 40 degrees, that's what I was going for. And it just did not happen that time. Okay, we got a 3-pin spare. So we're going to shoot with a 2-pin as our key pin here. It's going to be 23.5 with my feet, eyes at 20. Oh yeah. All day long with the amount of hook that's out there. Now, as you can see, this ball, since it's so much stronger, when there's not enough oil in the front part of the lane, it definitely has trouble turning the corner. Make sure I get my release this time. Closer. Wow, that middle part of the lane is just so squirrely right now. Now see, if I was to throw something shinier, I have no doubt I'd make it to that break point more consistent, but I probably wouldn't go through the pocket good enough. And the problem there is a shiny ball is going to be a lot more inconsistent as far as reaction to the dry. 27.5 and 20. Easy, 5-pin spare. Hopefully nobody had their hand up. Trust that I'm going to make that 5-pin. All right, we're 160 going into the 10th frame, so we need 3 good shots here. Come on, body. Do the right thing, please. That's better. Get up, get up. Oh, there's the flat 10-pin. And see, that's kind of what I expected. So, you know, stronger shape on the lane. Good shot on line, good rotation and all that. It didn't have the drive it needed once it made it to the break point to go through the pins properly. And that's why understanding your arsenal that you have is so important. Even if you're bowling on a house shot, knowing what ball does what in what scenario is the most important thing. Go, 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 go. Oh, oh no. I was worried about that. It was online for my 10 pin. I mean, just a hair bit of rotation. I wasn't expecting it to hook past the 10 pin like that. Oh well. All right, last shot of the day. I'm gonna try, actually 2 more shots because I'm curious about something, but I'm gonna grab my shiny Geek here, stand on that same mark I just was on, try and hit that same line, and we'll see what kind of result we get. Oh, so you see how that ball, yes, it's shiny, but because of the cover stock on that ball, it just read the friction so much harder. And it wanted to just hockey stick left. Try one more time. Try and get a bit of speed on the shot. That was way left at the arrows. But you see that difference in shape at the break point. That gets there quick and just goes hard. So the only other ball that may work in this scenario is my Swagger Show Off. So the Show Off is actually a ball down from the Joker Maniac, and it's a ball up from the Geek. We're going to throw it on the same line here and see what kind of result we get. Yeah, see, and the cover stock on the Show Off comes at 3,000 grit out of box. And so you could see that ball started reading pretty early. And as far as shape, front to back, it was a little bit stronger looking than the Maniac was. We're going to reset and try again. It got to the break point and rolled out. That was a bad shot, way left. Make sure I got my hand in the ball properly this time. Quite a bit better. Okay. So, you know, not terrible. It was strong enough to go through the pins, whereas the Maniac was a little too strong. So I definitely have that ball in my bag, placed at the right location. So for me, my benchmark is my Fantasy Days, my strongest symmetrical shape. Next one up from that is my Joker Maniac. Next one up from that is my Swagger Show Off. And of course, the next one from that is the Geek. So anyway, guys, I got to call it for the day. I got to go get my kids from the bus, but keep an eye out for the future. I'm going to be going live as much as I can for my practices when I come out here to practice. If you got any questions about anything, just let me know in the chat. I'll monitor chat as much as I can, and I'll try to answer your question as best I can. I'll be coming out with a video here soon, in the next couple days probably. I'm hoping by Wednesday. I got to edit it together, but that video is going to be talking about planting versus sliding. What are the benefits and downsides of both and that kind of thing. I actually just got done recording it today. So I'll see you guys in that video, and I'll see you in the next live, which hopefully will be tomorrow evening. See you guys later.